Friend, Margie's in trouble. And if you're a hard worker like Margie, the modern divorce woman next door, the last thing you need is pressure washer problems when you're trying to hose off your collectibles. No matter what make or model you got, parts replacement seems impossible, like in the case of this Greenworks Model 51012, aka Greenworks 1700 PSI. Replacing the hose on this is next to impossible because you can't buy the parts you need no more. But I got a workaround for everything, friend. So I'm going to show you how I fix obsolete contraptions like this one for $10. Plus, you'll learn about the basics that make just about every pressure washer work. This is Merv himself. DeMille's behind the camera. Let's get started. Hey, if you fancy these kind of videos, be sure to check out the rest of my channel, and most importantly, leave your pressure washer stories in the comments section, alrighty? So I tore this machine apart and then put her back together because I figured I better share this secret with you. First, I knew I had to snip the hose clean off with whatever it took. I used 10 snips. This handle's got 2 screws on each side, and it needs to come off in order to get the reel out, which you see is split down the middle here in order to give you access to that quirky hose fitting. And in truth, you're looking at the mangled remains of a handle, which says something about what I went through trying to remove the rusted screws that held her in place. I mean, they was turning to dust faster than Helen's flaky skin. So I tried drilling them out. Always fun. Then I sliced her with a hacksaw, yanked part of her off, and finally finished my cob job demolition by bashing it with a dead blow hammer. Bam. That come off. So next she looks like this, and I can yank half the spool out. And don't worry, because you ain't gonna need this spool no more. It's history. But you'll see in a minute it also creates something even nicer. And there's your screwball fitting. The bent pipe is held in place down here. I just pried out a clip and then worked this out of the socket. This socket attaches to the spool through this round donut fitting held in place by a clip, which actually comes out easy by pushing it with the tip of a flathead screwdriver. See, I already removed it. With the clip out, the feller is able to get this out of there. And you can deep six the other part of the reel. Me, I'm going to put that in a safe place. And by the way, here's what the clip looks like. DeMille, you got a good shot of that? Yeah. All right. And here's that thing. Looks like a crack pipe, which we're also going to obsoletify. Same goes for this donut-shaped feed line, which, although ingenious, is about to become useless, as you'll see in a minute. So let's flip old Betsy over. Don't worry, sweetheart, I'll send you flowers tomorrow. And you're going to be drawn like a magnet to 4 round holes right here. 4 screws are coming out of those round hole locations, plus 4 are deep in these rectangular areas right here. Here, here, and here. And flip her however you need to, because there's also 2 back behind the wheels for a total of, let's see, that's 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 2 is, well, that's tricky. DeMille, you got a calculator? 8 plus 2, that's roughly 10. Yeah, there's a total of 10. And a long-handled screwdriver is important, because some of these are deep down inside there, but don't sweat it if your shaft ain't as long as mine. Just use whatever you got to get the job done, and giving her a shake helps get the screws out. Want to keep these. But before we move into the home stretch, let's address the empty void created by our missing hose reel. Check this out. I call it a refreshment cradle, as if by design. Oh, wait, I'm feeling thirsty right now. Next, we're going to move her jugs out of the way. Push in the tabs on the soap selector. Push that down inside there. Might as well take the hoses off these. Donut feed line, as I call it, is now the only thing keeping me from taking the top off. Bolt cutters coming into action. Now, don't worry, this is obsolete anyway. You'll see in a minute why we don't need it no more. So I do a neat job to remove the remains of those screws I failed to get out. I remove the handle not because it's necessary, but because it eats up another 12 seconds of this video and helps you make a fortune off your view time. Switch, I'd take that out too. And then, without too much drama, off comes the body. And now that you see inside the belly of the beast, you see what remains of that donut feed line, so-called. It leads us right to the area where we're trying to get to. Having memorized the schematic of this unit in my secret lab, I worked to remove this clip, then grabbed that feed line and gave her a twist, hoping I could find a fitting for this outlet. Well, my search came up dry. But you might be luckier than me, so if you find a solution that fits here, chime into the comments section or hit me up on social. Me, I'm going for this next U-pin, which should be pretty easy. Easy as pie. Oh, you son of a... Maybe I can knock you out with this other U-clip. Oh, you filthy. Then this plastic bends, which is helpful. There. You know, that was simple, relaxing, and therapeutic.
So strong.
So once I wrangle this out of here, there, you'll see that by drilling straight through this, it's going to allow me to attach a new outlet pipe into that port. And finding the perfect outlet pipe for $10 is easier than you might realize. Now, it's important to know that every pressure washer has the same basic parts, and understanding what they do can be helpful in solving a variety of impediments. Here you got a switch that sends power to this. Now, what do you suppose that is? That's your pump. Makes the pressure. Water comes in here through your hose connection, travels through this tube, and into your pump, where it's squished, forced through until it finally comes shooting out this little Jiminy what gave me such a hard time. Comes shooting out of here at a real high speed, just waiting for you to pull your trigger on your wand and release it into the wild. So this port right here is now going to have this attached to it. And it's actually a Ryobi part. There's a link in the description below, but I'll show you how I was able to modify it. Pretty easy to make it work just fine for me. Your situation might be different, or you might have a better solution, which I hope you'll share with us in the comments section if you do. For me, the hose is going to attach perfectly to the threaded part, but this is in the way. So I hacked this out like a delicate surgeon, and my Ryobi fitting now has the clearance it needs. But for my replacement hose, see, I'm going to come in this way. Now here's how I modified the outlet pipe. See, this groove needs to be shifted a little this way in order for that U-pin to line up. And I don't recommend this for mortal men, but this is how I'm doing it. Oh, don't tell me you ain't tried stuff like this before. Don't knock it till you see my results. And you know, when I first got this in the mail, I was disappointed it was made out of cheap, lightweight material, but now I realize it was a gift from the good Lord himself. The drilling into that was easy. Now I hold it however necessary to do a neat, steady job. And see, my target is this line right here. I want to get the groove down to that point. I work with a 5/32 bit first, but 7/64 allows me to be even more surgical. Finally, I got her like I wanted, and the pin works fine. That's not going anywhere. So I put her in place, and eyeball the area that needs to be cut out, making a center mark for my hole cutter. And I fit the lid in place because that's going to be part of the cut, just a teeny bit. 1.25 inch hole cutter. Done. I put some Teflon tape on my threads, which is always fun to do with gloves.
Do not take off the gloves!
No, brother. And then I attach my hose fitting, which screws on there right nice. Yeah, I reckon you could put the pin in first, but I got a little carried away admiring the magnificence of my masterpiece. Prettier than Helen with the lights off. Alrighty, so in goes the U-pin, and I come in from the other side because there's more space over here. I started hammering her with this little chicken claw tool I got. Might want to try a hammer and maybe a sledge. You filthy, rotten son of a... Voila. So I figure it's important to test her out, and hopefully the water from over here won't blow out the fitting over here. Don't pay no attention to this leak, I just didn't tighten it up good, but nothing's leaking over here. Holding steady. Let's fire this up. Oh yeah. Oh Nelly. $10 and she's working again. DeMille, you'll be pressure washing my driveway in no time. I'm going to put the lid on and seal her up tight. And I'd say we done pretty good for $10. This is Merv himself. See you next time. Merv's Service Secrets is an ongoing DIY adventure. Be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications to get updates on every chapter in our story.